The liberals are suggesting that if Michelle Obama had spoken like the way Melania did, conservatives would be up in arms. Well, let's take a look at the things Michelle Obama has said publicly that should concern not just conservatives, but all Americans, regardless of political belief. Michelle Obama has been spending her time after being First Lady to push the lie that America is irredeemably racist. During her Spotify podcast, she was telling the story about how some of her coworkers that she would see outside of work wouldn't recognize her because they must not see black people due to the racism ingrained in them or something. It's funny because the people she worked with are probably liberals too, and it's fascinating that she can read their minds. She also tells a story about a minor slight she received while First Lady that somehow proves systemic racism exists. Funny how when the left shares stories, these are all solid data points that back up a larger pattern. But when the right shares a story, they don't care because it's just one anecdote. Is she so privileged that this is considered proof of racism against her? If so, her life must be pretty good. Look, people of all races make mistakes that impact people of all other races. We can't go through life so sensitive and blaming an entire group of people for the actions of a few. That's called racism. And we all know that if the person at the ice cream shop had noticed Michelle Obama, that person would have been jumping for joy.
I've had it several times where I've presented to members of my team, people that I've worked with, peers, go downstairs in the elevator, go out to lunch, and they walk right by you on the street. You're standing in line next to them at Sweetgreen, and they look right through you. They assume they don't know you. They have no use for you. And yet you just help solve their legal problem or help make them some money or save them some money. But then when you're out in the world, you're just an invisible person.
When the girls were little. This is when I was First Lady. Mm-hmm. I am Michelle Obama, yes, the First Lady of the United States.
Of America.
Of America. And we had just finished taking the girls to a soccer game. We were stopping to get ice cream. And there was a line. And once again, when I'm just a black woman, I notice that white people don't even see me. They're not even looking at me. And a white woman cuts right in front of us to order. Like she didn't even see us. So I stepped up and I said, "Excuse me." I said, "You don't see us, four people standing right here. You just jumped in line." She didn't apologize. She never looked me in my eye. She didn't know it was me.
Later on in another podcast where she has her mother and brother guest, they share the story about how when her brother was 10 years old, he was accused by two police officers of stealing his own bike. They go on and talk about it for a long time, using it as evidence of a problem with systemic racism against black people and how police operate in the black community. Then her mother says something at the end, that the officers were black themselves. To any level-headed person, that one statement would throw out the entire argument, but they have to twist and squirm to still use that as proof of systemic racism.
Innocent, I was like, "Oh, you got this all wrong. This is my bike. Don't worry, this isn't a stolen bike." And he would not believe me. And I was absolutely heartbroken. And I finally said to him, "Listen, you can take me to my house and I will prove to you this is my bike."
But when you leave that safety of your home and go out into the street where being black is a crime in and of itself, we have all had to learn how to operate outside of our homes with a level of caution and fear, because you never know. Because almost everybody I know has had some kind of incident where they were just minding their own business, but living black and got accused of something.
You know that it's part of a culture, because those two policemen were black and they were acting exactly the same as any other policeman.